What's up now?
Don't even worry about it right
What's up now? What's going on?
My fucking Aunt Linda just pissed me the fuck off where I want to hurt.
Okay, well, don't hurt her, baby.
Oh, I'm not gonna hurt her, but goddamn, she's gonna talk down to me like that.
Man,
Right.
I'm not
Well,
100% of chance of anything doing with this. I don't know. I can't tell you because I don't know. I have a lot of suspicion. I have a problem with Allie, Jose, Jody Sue, Andy, Donnie. I mean, I could list a whole bunch of people.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
There's not, really? It is to me.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
There's not, really? It is to me. Right, idiot.
I done my best. It's hard, that's real tough.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
Live from the NBD Production Studios, you're in the lab with your host, Joshua Diaz.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
There's not, really? It is to me.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys. But I have to.
There is no investigation.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
What's going on? What's happening?
But I have to put her. But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.
Lab Rats, what is up? How is everybody doing tonight? I want to first off start by apologizing. The last couple of shows have not been up to par. I have had low energy, low self-esteem, low T, low this, low that. But guess what? I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling better. And I'm here to clear a couple of things up for the uninitiated. And so very, very happy to be back. I'm feeling better. I'm on that Mucinex. I'm not sure what day it is, but guess what? Who cares? Days don't matter. They don't matter. It's like a microphone at a Britney Spears concert. It doesn't matter. We're here. I'm here. You're here. We're all here. And I am feeling better, sounding better. I've been on the water and lemon kicker. That little that little doop. That's a good one. Man, lemon in water is something to behold. But yeah, anyway, between the Mucinex and the Sudafed and the whatever, I'm just kidding. It's just the Mucinex and water, but we're getting there. We're feeling better. I feel better. Grandma feels better. kids feel better, you know, and that's just how it is. So sorry for the people that pray for our demise, but we're on the rise. And boy, oh boy, do I got one for you tonight. One that I've been awaiting for. I have been you guys know that when the serpent peeks his head out from the rock, I am going to throw a brick at it. Because what else do we have in life if not for accountability? Now, Dawn had done a fantastic job of keeping quiet, of laying low. Okay. I thought that this man may have learned his lesson and would just keep his mouth shut. Apparently, it is impossible for him. Okay. Now, it's not that easy for me either, but I'm cool with that, you know? But yeah, I've never been one to, you know, really keep my mouth shut when I feel like I need to, you know, have a go. But he's back and in rare form. He's worse than ever. You know, I heard, you know, nothing makes you more sick than listening to Don talk about anything with anybody. But I'm telling you, the rivalry that that PG and DW have, it is like it's like early 90s Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. We'll let Don be Larry Bird because apparently from his vocabulary, he doesn't like black people much. He'll tell you that he does, but that, you know, the N-word is it's kind of his go-to, and it doesn't mean what you think that it means. That's what he told me when he called me the N-word probably 37 times unsolicited. And, you know, so there he is. That's Don. Yeah, he's got, you know, he's a mean dude. A very mean guy. And once again, I have no idea what Don has done with Summer. If he had a major part in this or not. But he's had a major part in not looking for Summer, along with Candus as well. And, you know, and all of that, you know, we can talk about. When life gives you mustard, you make corn dogs. That's true. There's nothing wrong with corn dogs. Okay, so we got a lot here to break down because, you know, we got Dum Dum in just the stupidest. All right, so wonderful picture. I mean, what beautiful kids. Beautiful kids. And this is from timesnews.net. This is Rogersville's local website. You know, and they picked up on this. And now I do want to say this, and I am going to say that this is a sensitive subject because of the children that are involved. And it is troublesome. And I feel for parents who lose their children under circumstances out of their control, which, by the way, rarely happens. And when I mean it rarely happens, that for some reason you lose your children to CPS or whatever for some, violence in the family, whatever that, and you have to fight to get your kids back, drugs, things like that. These things happen, and they just do. Look, just because somebody uses drugs does not make them a bad parent. Bad life choices and bad parenting, unfortunately, go hand in hand. And that's just the long and short of that. But people turn it around. People correct mistakes. People do better for themselves. Just because you lose your children at some point doesn't mean that you're a bad parent. It means you have some things that need to be fixed. It is intended to help your family. It is not a punishment. It is not somebody casting aspersions. It is not anything other than what is best for the children. Not for the parents, but for the children. The children are the minors who cannot make decisions for themselves. They've never been able to. And it is such a tragic thing when children are removed from their home. All right, so Rogersville, the parents of Summer Wells have raised concerns online about being kept from contact with their sons who are in the custody of the Department of Child Services. Summer, who was 5 at the time, was reported missing on June 15th, 2021. Her 3 older brothers were removed from the home by DCS over a month later, around July 26th. Now, it's important to know that we do not exactly know why. We don't know why the boys were removed, but I have sneaking suspicions. I think most of us probably do. Give me a second here. And it's not for the reasons that Don says. But very rarely is it ever for the reasons that Don says. Because Don kind of sucks. Not kind of. I mean, I think it's kind of in my world, it's a proven fact. Let me see here. Okay. At the time, no exact reason was given for the removal. However, Summer's father, Don Wells, mentioned in an interview at that time that his home wasn't safe due to increased public interest in the case. I will disagree with that. I believe that it was. So here's where the lie kind of starts. Okay. At the time. Okay. So I'll up to the point where everything's good. And then I'll stop reading and let you know where he's full of crap. At the time, no exact reason was given for the removal. However, Summer's father, Don Wells, mentioned in an interview at the time that his home wasn't safe. Ding, 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 ding. Wasn't safe. Okay. End of sentence. Done. Period. Point blank. Moving on. Dunzo. Oh, no, wait. Here comes the crap. Due to increased public interest in the case. Okay. Well, that's not true, but whatever. You know, because I mean, the first month, it took them a month. It took an entire month. On January 16th, in a post titled "The Last Straw," good one, nice, good one, bud. The Last Straw on the family's blog at findsummerwells.com, ran by weirdo extraordinaire Tim Mullen. Tim, come out of hiding. Knock, knock, knock. Your clients are not behaving. And if you sanction this, it's one of the worst moves because this violates all sorts of gag orders, my friend. This violates all sorts of gag orders. Ridiculous. You know that Dawn can't post to the findsummerwells.com without Tim Mullins firing up the old Windows 95 with the little pull generator string and coding it in there and posting it on that god-awful website that does absolutely nothing except promote traffic, and probably I haven't even looked if there are banner ads or whatever's on there. I have no friggin' clue. I haven't looked at that thing in quite some time, but it's useless. And Tim goes, "Oh, well, we've reached millions of people with it." Well, you need to just reach 2, Dawn and Candus. All right. That's who you need to reach. Okay, on January 16th, in a post titled "The Last Straw" on the family's blog at findsummerwells.com, Dawn and Candus Wells claim that DCS is keeping them from contacting their sons. I don't know if that's true or not. If it is true, it's probably for a good reason. Dawn was released from jail on October 30th, 2020, after serving time for DUI conviction that violated his probation. Surprise, surprise. Dawn then accused, it doesn't matter what people think of us, Dawn states. After 9 months, I returned to the loss of everything. My wife and I stripped the house and start to rebuild our lives from scratch. And what is the first thing DCS does? They tell us we can no longer see or call our boys. Dawn then accuses DCS of mistreating his family. Well, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? DCS is mistreating the family. Okay. How so? How so, Donald? Let us know. Here we are, an Amber Alert family. He says, our daughter Summer is still missing. You don't say, Dawn. And DCS won't let us talk to our own boys, her brothers. We know that they're her brothers. It may seem like a harsh world, but the DCS have kidnapped our boys. And that's a hell of a statement. And that's a hell of an accusation. Kidnapped. So Summer was kidnapped. Now the boys are kidnapped. Okay. If they treat us, American citizens, this way concerning our boys, no communication, then what chance do we ever seen Summer again if she is found? Double exclamation question mark. Okay, so let me unpack that for a second. Then what chance do we have of ever seeing Summer again if she is found? There are so many things in this paragraph that are concerning. An Amber Alert family, Summer's still missing, DCS won't let us talk to our own boys or brothers. They kidnapped them, and then he hits us with the American citizens deal. I'm an American citizen. I have the right to mess my whole family up. Brother, I'm allowed to do that. Are you, though? I don't think so, Don. I don't think so. You can't hit us with the American citizens rap. All right? Nobody wants to hear that. Oh, if they treat us like we're American citizens, so are your children, and they deserve to be safe and taken care of, because obviously it wasn't being done. By the way, pretty much Don has been an absent father, where he was out of town. I think he had one of the kids, and it's all about Don and less about his family. And he wants you to know that he is an American citizen, which is weird, because we know you're an American citizen. It has zero to do with this. And maybe Tim Mullen dropped that line, whole, it's just like stupidest crap I've ever heard. In a post, Don mentions recent articles about DCS and talks about the state of the DCS system. He also talks about how others should be outraged as well. Because if you have had your children taken from you illegally and you're not allowed to talk to your children, you should be outraged. Unless, folks, there's a good reason. And I want to make this extremely clear to all the people out there who champion for Don and want him to get his boys back, so on and so forth. You don't know anything about this, what's going on with the boys. You don't know why the boys were taken. You don't know what was going on in that home. You should not be championing. I don't know. My nose is kind of stuffy. You're championing for somebody who obviously isn't in the best state to get his children back. Don or Candus. They've had a lot of time, and now he's pissed off because he has to pay the state and he owes them money, and he doesn't want to pay it. That, to me, is where this starts and stops. This isn't a free ride. If your children get taken, or if they receive any assistance whatsoever, you do have to pay it back. You just do. You have to help contribute, because taxpayers mostly are flipping this bill. And now Don becomes a politician out of nowhere. All right. The broken system cash cow must have, we ask everyone who loves Summer Moon Utah Wells to cry out as her voice in demonstration to the state of Tennessee that this is wrong, beyond wrong, what they were doing to children and their families. Kiss my ass, Don. You're kidding, right? What a thing to say. This broken system cash cow must have, we ask. First of all, what the hell does that mean? This broken system cash cow must have, we ask everyone. What? everyone who loves Summer Moon Utah Wells to cry out as her voice in demonstration to the state of Tennessee that this is wrong, beyond wrong what they're doing to children and their families. I will see you that and raise you an entire rack of chips, whatever kind Candus likes, because I'm telling you right now, I bet the state thinks the same exact thing about you. Don says he believes Summer would want him and Candus to fight for their family. Summer's 5. And she's the one that fought for them. And I'm scared to say this, but it probably costs her life. Or, or whatever life that she had, or if somehow some miracle she is alive, and God knows where or what. She fought for them. It feels like she's the one that is paying. She's flipping the bill with her life. A 5-year-old not being seen in a year and a half, close to 2 years, doesn't bode well for anyone, especially Summer. And to manipulate and say, if you love Summer, help us get our boys back. I don't know Summer, but I would say that I love her very much. And every child like Summer who has been mistreated and cast away. I find myself wondering sometimes why I care more than the parents, or at least I feel that way. Maybe I'm wrong, probably not. Let's go ahead and keep moving on with this article. But the picture is much, much bigger than us, Don writes. Apparently now he is just, he's fighting for all of us. But the picture is much bigger than us, Don writes. Say what you want about us, but the DCS system is broken, and Summer would tell us to fight for the sake of her brothers, as well as all the children in these articles that we will be posting. So now, all of a sudden, Don is a vigilante. He is out to expose Department of Child Services and the system as broken. And that Don deserved, and Don apparently feels that he deserves his children. This is not the first set of kids that they have lost. You got to know that, right? I know you guys understand that. I know people understand that. I understand. He's making a mockery of this. What's the angle? Now, I don't want to say that Don doesn't love his kids. You can do terrible things to people that you love. It happens all the time. And so they're probably best without any, they don't need that love. They don't need that kind of love. They don't need that kind of love. Cheek pinching Granny, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Near the end of the post, Dawn said the couple will no longer remain silent. Bummer. Quote, it has been 1 year since we went quiet, Dawn stated. That ends. We are sick of it all. At the end of the post, Dawn includes a song titled Naturally, We're Sick of It All, which he said explains, is that a real, what the hell is that? Which explains their feelings as parents. Several links to articles about DCS are also attached to the post. Leslie Earhart, public information officer of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, said that the case is ongoing. However, no new information is available. The Kingsport Times reached out to DCS for a comment, but received no response before the publication deadline. Impressive. This is the house that the boys were taken from. It's troublesome at best. He is manipulating the situation. He is preying on people's hearts. He knows exactly what he's doing. And it's wrong. Now, I don't know how the system works. I don't know how the Department of Child Services in Tennessee works. But the last thing that the state really truly wants to do is to take away your children. Contrary to what Dawn says, I can assure you that taking people's children isn't exactly on the top of their list. Matter of fact, they probably don't do it enough. And, you know, you can feel however you want about that. I personally don't think that they take children away enough. But they do not. Well, you know, everything's okay because they got that basketball hoop right there, and it looks like the walkway that looks like a walker that would have tennis balls on the bottom of it. So, you know, I really can't get with Dawn's claim that, you know, he and that DCS has stolen his children, that they don't care, that they are mistreating Dawn and Candus and so on and so forth. It's not about you, Dawn and Candus, as much as you want it to be. It's not Here, let me move this down. As much as you want it to be about you and all about you, and sorry, Chris, I'll put your stamp up there. As much as you want it to be about you, it's not about you. The Department of Child Services they don't just want to go around taking people's children. They just don't. Say whatever you want. It's not true. That is not true. And to think that there is some grand conspiracy, well, that's just horse crap as well. The fact of the matter is that Summer has been missing. In June, it'll be 2 years, and not a single shred of new evidence from that day is known. Nice Marie says, we are warriors for Summer. We will fight for Summer. Summer saved the boys. Sad to say in so many ways, Summer paid the price. I agree with that. As terrible as it is, it's the truth. As terrible as it is, it's the truth. And she didn't deserve to be the sacrificial lamb for your family. And now you're using her as a bargaining chip on top of everything else with this poor girl. She is not your marker, your spot keeper, your whatever. She is missing. And to say things like, if you love Summer, you should be outraged. This has what's going on with you and your boys is a separate issue from Summer, yet it's not. Which is weird in itself. Which is just weird in itself. She is not some entity that you can pick up when you want and use the thought and she's just not the way that you use Summer's name in that article. Now, once again, I want to say this, that we don't know why the boys were taken. You would think if it was because Summer went missing, that the reason would be because of ongoing CPS investigations. It sounds like that this has been taking place for some time. They don't take children away because a child goes missing from a home. That's not a reason. But I'll tell you one major reason that they take children away, and it's not what Don said. Well, it is kind of what Don said when Don said, hey, my house isn't safe, period. But he didn't stop there. He said it was not safe because of the attention that the case was getting. That's not the reason. They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do it. Nobody wanted to harm those boys. The only people I think that would want to do any harm to the children are the ones that are in charge of them. Nobody wanted to hurt the boys. Nobody wanted to hurt you. Nobody has hurt you. Dawn and Candus, you beat the hell out of each other every day. Well, I won't say every day, but, quite often. And it's sickening. It's sickening. You can see the house as we're talking about it from here. It's not fit for living organisms. I've never been to that hill. I never want to go to that hill. But it looks like it smells like rat turds and twigs. And I mean, I wouldn't let Otis run around that place. And he's an absolute monster. This house is haunted. It's a haunted house. It's a house of horrors. One of the things that I can only think of, and it comes back to me all the time, is think about 6 months to a year before Summer goes missing. What exactly do you think was going on in that house? Because I can guarantee it wasn't good. Because think about all the stuff that was going on in the house while we knew what was going on. It was bad. It was terrible. The fighting, the drinking, just the way that they speak to each other, the overall. And yet there's people out here advocating for Dawn and Candus to get their children back. Their children back that they lost on their own. My God, look at that. Now, this is, by the way, I want to tell you right now, this is not poor shaming at all. Trust me. At all. That is not the point of this. There's a lot of poor people in the world that have some self-respect. And if you ask me, the reason why Dawn is so frustrated is because they are sucking the money from him, because now he has to pay. He has to pay the state of Tennessee, and he doesn't want to do that anymore. He would rather have his children live in filth. He doesn't want to pay them. Yeah, paying child support sucks, right? Everybody knows that. Nobody, I mean, is there anybody in the world that likes paying child support? No, I'm sure nobody is excited about it. No, they weren't poor at all. You're right. They weren't poor. Matter of fact, you want to talk about being poor. I don't know many people that can afford to take $2,000 out of the bank and go spread crack around like Salt Bay. You guys remember Salt Bay? Crack Ferry in Knoxville. I don't know that many people that could do, you know, that. I don't want to know. I don't want to know those people. I don't know what he has. I don't know exactly what he has to pay to the state, but trust me, they have to flip a bill. And you know, obviously there are ways for him to get around it, such as, you know, getting paid under the table, so on and so forth. And then they just kind of rack it up. You don't pay, then you end up with back support. You know, Don's like 57 years old, probably racking up back child support, which I'm sure just burns his ass up because he would much, much rather just have his kids, you know, live in squalor, and that way, you know, he can buy crappy pizzas. That's what he's doing. That's what he always does. That's what he hates about this situation, and he doesn't want to pay. And Don, if you're watching this, tell me I'm wrong, that it doesn't just burn you up, that you have to pay the state of Tennessee money because they took your kids from you because you were unfit to take care of them. And if you think that he wasn't unfit, look at this house. It's probably the cleanest it's been here in years. And he's saying that the system is broken. No crap. We all know that. The system is broken, but so are homes. So are homes. That was a broken home. And yes, you came back to nothingness. Your whole life was taken from you. Or whatever life you had. And by the way, my sympathies, I'm sure that you do miss your kids. But that's not good enough. Just because you miss your kids doesn't mean that you're capable of taking care of them. Taking care of children is hard. It requires a lot of different things: patience, help, work. I have a 17 and an 18-year-old, soon to be 18 and 19-year-old. They were hungry the other morning, sick as a dog. They wanted pancakes. They don't know how to make pancakes. They should know how, but they don't. I made them pancakes. It sucked. I was like, I don't want to do this. I hate doing this. I don't feel good. But the pancakes were good. They were hungry. And I'm not some spectacular father. I'm not somebody who touts of being, you know, I care about my family and my kids. And if they told me, say I wasn't doing a good enough job, and the state takes my children from me, places them in foster care, and says, Josh, you have to cut off 3 of your toes before you can get your children back. I'm cutting my toes off. Josh, you have to build a retaining wall before your kids get back by hand. You have to mix the cement by hand. Okay, let's get to work. You have to fix your house up inside and go to drug treatment and quit drinking and doing drugs and getting arrested. Then that's what I'm going to do. Now, Dawn, if you guys are saying here that you've done these things that they have asked of you, if you are in good standings with the Department of Child Services, if you have exhausted every single little thing that you could possibly do to get your kids back, then I'm with you. Well, not with you, but I'd be with somebody else. And I would understand your gripe. But it's not just about the house. It's about everything. It's about everything. It's the drugs, the alcohol, the abuse. There are many witnesses saying that they treated these children like crap. And if you think that drugs and alcohol aren't a major reason that these children were taken, on top of the fact that it looks like they live in a shelter right next to Chernobyl, then I don't know what to tell you. And if you think that they are capable of taking care of these kids, I'd be stunned to hear that argument. How? Why? Mary P says, do you think those boys want to come back to that? I would hope not. I don't know what they want. You know, that is another thing that you look at from the show. This is all that these kids knew. And I hope and I pray, you know, that they're getting the nutrition and the love and attention that they deserve, and that Dawn and Candus haven't imprinted on the children so bad that habits that they have picked up from them possibly don't extend into their early adulthood. No drinking, no drugs, fix your house. Nobody stole your kids. Nobody kidnapped Summer. And if by some off chance that Summer is with somebody, it's because you gave her away. But I don't believe that. But nobody came in there and took her out of the basement like you want people to believe. It's just not true. Nobody took your kids. Nobody stole your kids. None of them. None of them. And here we go down the hole in the, this is crazy. This is how you get into Summer's bedroom. you just crawl right down there. Imagine that. Imagine this being your life. This is where Summer spent her nights. Down in this disgusting, stench-filled, damp, because it doesn't have the proper heating or air. I mean, I'd be terrified to sleep down there, personally, as a grown adult. I would be just terrified. And if you think that a little kid can't get hurt down there or in that house, I mean, it honestly looks like Summer's bedroom. It honestly looks like a refugee holdup, something like that. You know. This is her life. This was her life. I mean, we're going to blame Department of Child Services? What the hell is that? That is not a place for a kid. That's not a place. Look, Dawn and Candus can sleep in there all they want. They can love it there. But I wouldn't even recommend that they do it. Yeah, that was her bedroom. And that's all her stuff. Come look at all of her stuff that I got for her. She's got a lot of cool stuff. Yeah. A lot of cool stuff. Any spare money that Candus gets, she gives to, she would buy her kids stuff. Nobody, and I mean nobody, believes it. Nobody. How could you believe it? And Dawn has the balls to pretend that the reason the children aren't there is because because Child Protective Services are corrupt and they want to stick it to them. I just simply don't believe it. And I simply don't believe that they stole your children. I don't believe that they illegally took them or that they did it for no reason whatsoever. And I personally don't think that they took them because Summer went missing. Now, what is that a good enough reason? Well, I think so. I think it's absolutely a good enough reason. But I don't believe that was the reason. And I think that Summer was going to be taken by them as well. And unfortunately, I think they were too late. Michelle Reed Duncan says, I didn't see much in Summer's room. No, you didn't. No, you certainly didn't. Which is terrible in itself. You don't see much going on in that house. It's what we would refer to as a flop house. It's a flop house. Yeah. It's like when Moses, when they had to put the blood over the door, like, don't come take my children. Well, good Lord, man. Like, it's funny because a lot of people say, oh, this place was an accident. This place is an accident waiting to happen. The accident already happened. It's done. The accident already happened. Or the situation already happened. Whatever went down happened. Summer has been gone for quite the amount of time, and nobody knows where she is. It's just a flop house. It's just a flop house. Is that a boat? I've never even noticed that. Is that really a little... When was the last time that thing saw anything but rainwater? It's a boat. A friggin' boat. Wow. I didn't even notice that. I've seen this video a bunch. I didn't know there was a boat there. Old refrigerators in the yard and so on and so forth. That's just, the whole thing is just sickening. It's just a terrible, terrible thing. Do you think they, excuse me, do you think they knew that their children were going to be taken from CPS? I mean, was it scheduled? I have no idea how they operate. I've heard yes and no, but I do believe, that they had some idea that this was going to go down. And a lot of people believe that the reason Summer went missing is because if the protective services had gotten a hold of Summer, that it would have revealed things. Now, this is just, and I don't know if this is true or not. I have no proof, but that is one of the theories, is that it would have revealed things that they didn't want surfaced. Now, I could buy that, but I can't say that for certain. I have no idea. But who would let a kid run around like that? Yeah, a lot of people do believe that. A lot of people believe that that's the case. I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. That swing. Sure, that's possible as well. I think Summer's gone because she would have talked. There's a lot. And I believe this true. I believe this as well. I believe that the answers start and stop with Candus, and that Dawn either had a hand in it or a hand afterwards or whatever. Kelly S., the way he talks about her is not normal. No, it's not. And it never has been. It never has been. It never has been. My sister was questioned at 5, 6 years old by state officials more than once. More than once. They definitely would be asking her questions. One of the other theories is that, Summer, before she went missing, that Summer was supposed to start kindergarten. And, you have to have all of this stuff is shrouded in mystery. Okay. You got to understand that. Yeah, I could do that. I could do that. Yes, Candus and Grandus. No, I believe Don did clean up afterwards. He's got 7 alibis after all. Candus, nil. Yeah. Let's never forget about the alibis. I have 7 alibis. But the fact that this turd, Don, being the turd, I mean, is there any self-awareness here? I mean, why is he slamming CPS for taking care of his children? He should be thanking CPS. He doesn't want to pay the child support. He doesn't want to pay the state. By the way, if you haven't liked this video, please do. It helps the reach. It helps the channel. Let me see. It helps the reach and it helps the channel. Let me see here. Like Chris said about Dawn, it's always some other dude. Yeah, now it's some other entity, some other organization. If she was going to tell anything, or if they were worried about that, they would if they would have been thinking and worried about church. So I don't think it's afraid of school. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Lilacs liked it on the way in. Oh, I think Grandis had her hand in this. So important to get them pain pills. And they're all gone. Go to Wisconsin to get more. Limited refills in certain states. Sometimes I feel if we find where Rose is, we could figure out mentally where Summer is. Yeah, poor Rose. I'm praying for Summer. Much love, Summer. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't believe so. I don't know. Nina says, I pray that the damage done to the boys can be dealt with, but I'm afraid damage has already been done. They say the first 2 years in a child's life are the most important. I would agree with the first 2 years being the most important. That's kind of when, I mean, think about it. You learn the English language and or whatever language you speak, whatever country you're in, you learn the language and, develop motor skills. But mentally, I don't think, I don't think that you're quite up to par. You don't really still know how to express yourself. That's why they call it the terrible twos. And by the way, the terrible twos last to the terrible tens and so on and so forth. But it's just one of those things where, yes, it is hard to undo. Question: why is Don Wells in Arizona? Probably drywalling. Oh, yeah. Of course I do. I remember that vividly. Josh, did you hear the live Don was on and they were both drunk and he hit Candus again right on the live and admitted it? Yeah, he's done that a couple times, I think. He's done that a couple times. That shock anybody? She hits him too. Like I don't want to lay all that at Dawn's feet because I know she's not nice to him either. They're not nice to each other at all. Candus is not nice. Losing custody of 10 children between both parents is, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Don does, why Don does it. They both thumped each other, and we're supposed to think the kids didn't get thumped, yeah. Oh, trust me. Yes, she is not. But you know what she is really good at is playing the victim when it suits her, breaking down, crying. She has this kind of, it's like, how a skunk has its spray. That's kind of what Candus does when she's like put into a corner and doesn't want to answer questions. She very much breaks it down and starts to weep and cry and, feel bad for me. Yeah, unfortunately, I do remember that, Lisa B. Yep. Yeah, and Michelle Reed Duncan, listen, if they're toxic for one another, how toxic are they for children? Us, please, if Candus didn't hit him back, her and the boys would have got gone. I don't even I don't know. I don't know who hits who first, but I've heard it both ways. I've heard that they both attack each other, and that they have attacked each other, and I've heard it both ways. Candus wrote in a police report that she was scared for her kids' lives. That her and her children were in danger because Dawn was such a psychopath, and so on and so forth. Yeah, she did do it on Dr. Phil. She cries without crying. He hit the fridge to show there was no one in there. That was not out of anger. No, it was more out of stupidity. I don't know. I do not know if that's, I don't know. I'm sure you're welcome to that opinion. But look, Candus is not, Candus is not exactly, saint at all. They both wake up on the wrong side of the bed, in my opinion. The way Don talks about Summer is disturbing. There's no question about it. It always has been. It's always been disturbing. It will always be disturbing. Incoming Dawn theory.
Well, at first I thought, it's got to be some sicko hillbilly druggie, drug her out in the woods or something, or somebody put her in her car and took her not too far away or whatever like that. But
it's interesting. It's a very interesting theory. It's a pretty good theory.
Do you think you're going to be the person in the end that gets in trouble for Summer?
oh, it's very possible. Oh yeah.
That they're going to, in your opinion, railroad you for this? Do you think that that's what's going to happen?
You can't do that with no evidence. That's impossible, bro. How can you do that? You
Well, I
gotta
don't
have
know.
evidence.
I don't know what evidence they have. I don't know.
They don't
I would
have
just-
no evidence, and there's no way they could ever have evidence because it's impossible.
It's impossible. It's impossible. Well, Dawn thinks that they let's hear a little bit more about how it's all Dawn.
I just wish that they could find Summer, Donnie. I just,
Yeah, well, what good? I mean, yeah, I wish so too, man, because this turned my whole world upside down and nobody cares.
It's turned his whole world upside down and nobody cares. Literally was about to say, what good is it gonna do?
I just wish.
And shout out to Mary. I see. I saw you in the chat earlier, Mary. I love you, Mary, and you're so strong and such a pleasant and delightful person. I'm sorry that you have to deal with dickhead Dawn.
I just wish that they could find Summer, Donnie. I just,
Yeah, well, what good? I mean, yeah, I wish so too, man, because this turned my whole world upside down and nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. That's true. Nobody does care about your world being turned upside down. Mary is the best.
I just wish that they could find Summer, Donnie. I just,
Yeah, well, what good? I mean, yeah, I wish so too, man, because this turned my whole world upside down and nobody cares.
I just know that they have to have done something because she did not walk off of that property. That's all I know.
Yeah.
He's a lost cannon.
That's like one of my favorites of all time.
He's a lost cannon.
Is he? I agree. He is a lost cannon. Big time. A big time lost cannon. Don, nobody stole your kids. CPS didn't steal your kids. You're not fit to have them. You don't deserve them. You guys haven't done anything that they've asked you to do. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
There is not, really? It is to me.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about
I'm gonna
the
do
boys.
what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
There is no investigation. This boy
There
has.
is not, really? It is to me. Right. Idiot.
I've done my best. It's hard, you know, that's real tough.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
Live from the NBD Production Studios, you're in the lab with your host, Joshua Diaz.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
There is not, really? It is to me.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys. But I have to.
There is no investigation.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her. But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.
Well, at first I thought, you know, it's got to be some sicko hillbilly druggie, you know, drug her out in the woods or, you know, or something, or somebody put her in her car and took her not too far away or whatever like that. But
I have nothing to hide at all. He's a lost cannon.
She tends to, when she gets drunk and high at the same time.
Yep.
She tends to think that she loses the kids, but they're out front in the yard. That's what I was thinking.
Got it.
I don't lie. I can't lie. It's not in my metabolism. Man, I'm not 150% of chance of anything doing with this. I don't know. I can't tell you because I don't know. I have a lot of suspicion. I have a problem with Allie, Jose, Jody Sue, Andy, Donnie. I mean, I could list a whole bunch of people.